Rue, ask me what the difference between a dragon and a drake is.
Isn't the difference between a dragon and a drake the...
No, you should ask me that.
Okay. What is the difference between a dragon and a drake?
Well, a dragon walks on 4 legs and has wings, and a drake is an aspiring singer.
Oh dear.
Ooh.
Ba-doom.
Excuse me. Hang on a second. Who just booed? We didn't summon you.
Oh, we have guests. And it seems that it's due to some temporal distortions.
Another one?
Where are we?
What the hell's going on?
Well, you are in the realm of forgotten memories and dreams. We are the Delegation of Dreamers. I am Rue.
I'm Ephraim. I'll take the boo as a compliment.
And I'm Ashura. May we ask of your names?
Sigrid Ali's, but I mean, you can call me Sig, I guess. But we're in a dream?
Yes, this is all your imagination.
I don't know if I trust that after everything that's happened to us. You can call me Addie.
Very well.
Nice to meet you, Addie and Sig, but may I ask, what are you referring to in terms of everything that you've gone through?
He sees evil. A lot.
What sort of evil?
Well, between trying to stop Auril from causing an eternal winter and Torog from leaving his prison, we've had a bit of a rough time.
It's an understatement.
That's not to mention the Lich in charge of the city we were in and making sure that he didn't mess things up either.
Now, I would love to hear about that, but before that, would you guys want some tea and cookies?
We have macaroons.
Oh, I haven't had tea and macaroons in months.
Not a big tea drinker, but I'd have some cookies, I guess.
All right.
You don't happen to have cupcakes, do you?
No, there are no cupcakes in this room.
They haven't been forgotten yet.
Yeah, they're not forgotten yet.
Well, that doesn't mean we can't try and make some, but I seem to not remember any recipes for them, so...
Considering we can't figure out the recipe for a milkshake, it's going to be a bit difficult to figure out the recipe for a cupcake.
But please, have a seat on one of the softer rocks, and our kobolds will bring out some refreshments.
All right.
Don't you mean smoother rocks? I don't think rocks can be soft.
It's the moss on top.
Ah, well, I suppose that works.
I mean, it's softer than some of the crap we've been sleeping on. Just going to point that out.
This is one of the more bizarre dreams I've had recently, yeah.
Yes, it seems that you have quite a lot on your plate between Auril, don't know why it's hard for me to say that name, and Torog. Speaking of, you said you're trying to keep Torog from getting out.
Yes.
How is that going? The last person I met that knew Torog was already dead.
That would have made things so much easier if he was already dead.
Wait, was the person dead or was Torog dead?
Torog was dead.
Oh. Well, I don't know, but as far as I am aware, he is still chained and still deep underground, and the Durgar who were working for him were obliterated by the Lich, which we tricked into helping us.
Ah.
Wasn't that hard?
Very, very smart.
The city belongs to him, and, well, he's the leader, and the Durgar were drilling holes into his city, so we informed him of this and told him that they were trying to take over the city, and then he promptly eliminated them all, and proving that we probably can't really take him on ourselves because he's too powerful.
Yes, Durgars and dwarves are a bit of a pest. They always keep drilling and making holes in structures.
I mean...
That and they'll drink a bar dry.
Okay, I'm going to point out, if a bunch of dwarves can drink a bar dry, that bar wasn't stocked up enough and should learn.
Yes, I have to agree. You should always be ready for bands of heavy drinkers. Dwarves are not the only ones who can drink a bar dry.
Nope.
I've met a few Dragonborn who like their drink almost as much as a dwarf.
I mean, to be fair, if the drink's good, why not enjoy it, right?
Yes. I try not to drink too much because I get poisoned easily by alcohol than the normal person, probably because I'm mostly plant. But there are some drinks that are quite good and easy to enjoy.
Speaking of which, Adi and Sigrid, which one of you are the heaviest drinker?
Sig.
No contest?
Oh, absolutely not.
I'd rather not think of the time I got drunk on, what was it, 1 cup?
She's a lightweight, basically. So most of our friend group is.
I think you were the only one that didn't get drunk that night.
Wasn't hard.
If you can handle your drink well, I happen to have a drink that happens to be quite known for being quite strong. What was it called? Was it called Dragon's Brew? No, it had dragon in the name, but I can't remember the name.
Have you been getting in my stash again?
No, I happen to have my own supply. We've had adventurers coming by the cave recently, and I happen to like collecting gold from them in exchange for some of the drinks that I have been coming upon. But, name beside the point, would you like to try some?
Sure. I don't have booze I could trade you, but I could trade you some other drink, I guess.
No, it's fine. You're a guest.
We'd be happy to trade you some drink for some stories. How about that?
Yeah, sure.
Just be careful, you'll wake up drunk.
Isn't this a dream?
Yeah.
Listen, if I can wake up drunk instead of hungover, I'll take that.
Fair.
We've been dealing with a lot of shit. I'm just saying, if I have to wake up drunk, it'll at least feel better than when I wake up in the hellscape we've been stuck in.
That is fair. And, here's Jeremy with the drink now. Thank you, Jeremy. You're being more useful than normal. I don't trust this. Anyway, here you go.
Thanks.
So, what hellscape are you stuck in?
Actually, before that, can I ask about your first story, where you're from?
Both of us are from Waterdeep originally.
Ah.
Yes.
We've been stuck up north for I don't even know how long. How long has it been now? At least a month, maybe 2. I don't know. You lose track of time when there's no sun.
There's no sun where you're?
Well, it's just, it's so far north, and with Auril messing with the cloud cover, it has been rather cold, though I'll admit that Sig hasn't suffered quite as much as the rest of us have with how cold it's been.
Yeah. I'm just tired of, the fact it's always, it's never bright. I forget what the sun looks like. You just have overcast and gray and snow, lots of snow.
And what took you up there?
Yeah, Addie, what took us up here?
Well,
I feel like this is going to be a good story.
Yeah, Adi, what took you up there?
I don't know if I trust you all, but, well, I suppose if it is a dream, though this is a weird dream, I happen to be an Azamar, so I have a guardian, an angel of Lathander, and they informed me that there was a problem up north, that a great danger was trying to be unearthed, and at the time they didn't tell me it was, the King of the Crawls, and that I had to go there and stop it. Since my mother was a paladin before me and did epic deeds in the name of Lathander, I decided that leaving my home and embracing this destiny was what I had to do. And also that would get me out of the way of possible problems, since I found some information about my heritage.
Oh?
Basically, she ran away from Daddy Dearest.
Oh.
Did you discover that your father was a murderer?
Oh no, my father is a very upstanding citizen, but, well, I have my doubts about if he's my biological father, and Sig thinks that's not actually how it goes, but I found this ring in my mother's belongings, and it's a signet ring of the Allegondar family, which is the rulers of Neverwinter.
Oh.
Which means I'm somehow related to that line, and Duke Neverember has control of Neverwinter. I figured he wouldn't want someone taking the throne away from him.
And what about you? What brought you up here, Addie?
You mean
Sorry.
Sig?
Sig. My apologies. I'm terrible with names.
It's fine. So, because little secret princess here decided to run away from home, her dad wanted to hire someone to, drag her back kicking and screaming if need be, and I got hired for that. Of course, she didn't make it easy to track her down, and by the time I did, we were up north and I couldn't get out with her. So I've been stuck making sure she doesn't get herself killed.
To be fair, she's done a pretty good job at that.
I'd better be, or my paycheck.
How many near-death incidents have you had?
I know, you lose count after a while.
Oh, come on. I usually stay at the back of combat, and I am usually protected by the rest of the team since I'm the only one who can heal them.
I mean, you're not wrong. Like, are we talking about near-death experiences for just her, or near-death experience for our whole team? Because those numbers are really different. I feel like if she's going to have a near-death experience, it's going to be from lack of sleep.
I think I've only gone unconscious once.
Well, you're unconscious now.
Well, yes, but Dream, you said I'm just sleeping, right? Not, like, dying.
To our knowledge, yes.
Oh, good.
So you're the hired help by the father.
Basically, yeah.
And you found this ring that belonged to multiple nobles. May I ask, did you try to confirm this with your father or anything?
They mentioned the same thing. The first thing that I thought was that my mother had married my father because she was pregnant and that she had kept this from him so that he didn't know anything about it. And I was afraid that if I mentioned it to him, I would put him in danger because then he'd know about it. And I've heard stories of Daggled Neverember killing others who had some claim to the Allegondar family line. So in a panic, I decided not to tell my father and to go north and possibly find out more about this myself.
I think she just reads way too many fantasy novels and, got this ridiculous idea in her head and went to the worst possible scenario and, it could have all been fixed by talking to her father.
Quite possible, though I will say, in the world that I originally come from, the family which you speak of is known for being not the kindest to people, and not liking information getting out that shouldn't.
Yes. Well, that's why I wanted to keep that as secret as possible, and for the most part I was pretty successful, because no one else in the party besides Sigrid knew. Until, that is, of course, we ran into an undead Netherese who saw me and immediately called me princess in front of a few of my party members.
Oh, that was funny.
As a pickup line?
Nope. He apparently could tell that I was of Netherese royal descent, somehow. I still don't know how that works. Apparently some kind of magical signature, I suppose. He is a powerful magic user.
Yes, you do have a signature on you, though you also have Lathander's presence upon you, and a little bit of Aurel's.
Well, she's probably upset that we killed her avatar.
Most likely.
Yeah, we gotta, get out of the north while her avatars are dead, but then other shit happened. But I just want to get out of the north, and then we ended up here.
Yes, you seem to be blessed by Aurel. I'm a bit confused on how that came about.
Yeah, so am I. I'm guessing being born on her day just makes her decide you're special. I don't get it. And I don't like it.
I don't blame you. Aurel's not the best person to be blessed by.
You went from your hometown to the north. I'm assuming you haven't been outside of your hometown before. How did you get around? How did you yourself out of trouble, so to say?
Well, I may not have left home much, but I did read a lot and looked at many maps and such. I actually planned my escape by a ship because I figured that was a bit safer than going by road as a noble. I may disguise myself, but the bearing is kind of hard to stop. So I took a ship first to Candlekeep on the pretense that I was looking for books from the library, and as soon as I landed in Candlekeep, took another ship heading towards Luskin.
And is that where you met your party?
Nope. We met further north. I started going by foot there, hired a helper, Oryx, to guide me through the passes. And, well, I did meet up with Sig just outside of Luskin.
Yeah, and unfortunately by that point I couldn't drag her out. And then we ended up meeting a tiefling named Bitterfrost and a tabaxi named Ember, and we ended up just traveling together because it's kind of dangerous on the road, so, you know, safety in numbers, that kind of thing.
Understandable. And are you receiving funding from the father as you go through all this?
I was given some gold to basically, you know, make sure I had all the supplies I needed when traveling and stuff. But I don't get my full payment until I take her home, and I'm gonna force her to demand a bonus after everything we've been through. But for the most part, I've kind of run out of the gold I was given by this point.
You need to build your own horde.
To build your own horde means you need to have a home base, and I don't have that right now because I'm not making my home base in the north. Maybe I'll start making a horde once I get home.
Yes. And get some kobold followers to mine gold for you.
Not interested in followers, but y'all have fun with that.
And Sig, if I may ask, you're a rune knight, correct? How did you go about becoming part of that profession?
Well, I'm not very good at, you know, talking to people and that kind of shit, so pretty early on it was like, you know what, I'm just gonna use weapons and smack people with them, because that's pretty easy. But, my younger sister, she, ended up showing signs of magic at a really young age, which, you know, my family didn't know what to do about that. I decided to help research and figure out what was going on with her, and we found out she was a giant soul sorcerer. So, you know, giant magic, she's dealing with that, and while I was researching that and trying to help Helene with that, ended up finding out about rune magic and the fact it can be used to make, you know, hitting things a lot easier. So I started doing that and just kind of stuck with it. It helped me figure out what was going on with my sister and helped me be stronger.
And you became adept at giant magic doing this?
It was more rune magic kind of resonated with me because thanks to my sister and her giant soul magic, we kind of realized somewhere in my family at some point someone fucked a giant. I don't know how it worked. I don't want to know how it worked. But it resonates with me probably because I might not be a sorcerer, I might not have fancy magic like her, but I can get really big if I want to.
So what sort of different weapons have you used then?
For the most part, for a while, I just kept with, you know, sword, maybe a crossbow when you needed to hit something far away, but recently I was able to, you know, as you do when you're traveling, loot a body, and got this really cool looking axe, and, like, it's big. It's honkin' big, and I'm pretty sure if Addie tried to lift it up, it would just drop her to the ground. Like, I always wondered if I just set it down on her while she was laying down, she probably wouldn't be able to get up, which would be hilarious.
You underestimate my strength.
Right. I totally believe that.
It's only one way to find out.
Maybe later. But, this axe is awesome. It can be useful, except when, you know, we're fighting things that like ice, because then it doesn't do as much. But if I hit something with it and they don't like ice, it works really well, because it also, you know, makes the thing I hit pretty damn frosty and covered in ice.
And does the axe work well when you like become bigger?
Oh yeah, it works great. Like, this thing's big, so I can wield it pretty easily as is, but it hits a lot harder once you're, I don't know. Addie, how tall do I get? I think it's like,
15 feet.
yeah. When you're 15 feet tall, that thing packs quite a hit.
Do you have any favorite moments of when you were gigantic?
Well, a couple. One time I ended up like grabbing this metallic dragon and keeping it pinned to the ground so my friends could hit it. And then I just whacked it a bunch and it finally went down. That was a good one. But I think my favorite was probably was Ice Trolls, right, Addie?
Yes.
One of our buddies, Oryx, he was getting his ass kicked a bit, but to be fair, he ran ahead of everyone else. And we were all dealing with the Ice Trolls, and, you know, they were kind of dumb. They got all in one nice little line, and, oh, look, they're standing right beside this fallen tree, and it's a big tree, but I know I can lift that sucker, so I'm like, pick it up and slam it down on their heads. One of them didn't even get up. The other two did, but I started yelling at them, telling them how dare they attack the deer and elk or whatever. They all have antlers. And man, those guys were terrified. They ended up getting killed, you know, but it was fun scaring the hell out of them in that moment.
That's one hell of a way to kill an ice troll.
Death by tree. You don't hear that one often.
Yeah. Tree falls in a forest.
At least you can't hear it once you're dead, right?
Yeah.
So do you often protect deers or elks?
And that's more one of our buddies, Oryx. He's a renegade. He's part of the elk tribe, so, you know, they care a lot about elks, and he was already mad that how dare they attack elks, and I just kind of added on to that because, we got to see a giant elk later.
Oh,
Yeah, it appeared to thank us for helping the elks. So I guess there is a good outcome of helping creatures. I mean, we tried our best not to attack creatures unless they were hostile to us.
Any instances where that's happened?
Well, before we got to Bryn Shander, we were attacked by some rather rabid wolves. Weren't we attacked again by wolves? Or was it wolves?
Listen, all I'm thinking about is the murder moose.
We didn't actually kill the murder moose, as you
No,
put
but
it.
it killed other people. They deserved it, but...
Yeah. And Bitter was rather cruel to it, but in the end, I healed it, and we talked out our misunderstandings, since it was an awakened moose, and apparently one of us could talk to it. Ember, I think.
Yeah, because one of our buddies had this magic item that let him speak into minds and, you know, also heard evil voice back.
Right. So we managed to talk to this moose and help it in the end.
was it a normal moose that just was rampaging?
It was an awakened moose, which also happened to be a albino, so it was a white moose. And because of its murder spree, it was covered in a bit of blood, so it looks rather terrifying, to be honest.
And what about your current quest? What are you currently doing?
Well, we were in the process of making sure that the city of Ithrin was maintained in its location so that Torag could not escape his prison.
And did you put him in the prison?
No. I'm sure he's been a prison there for many, many centuries. But that's the evil that my guardian had mentioned, and so we made our way to Ithrin, and it turns out that he who crawls had been working with Auril to be freed from his prison. So we had to take care of Auril and make sure that the city was not taken away from where it was, as that city was being used as a sort of lock.
A sort of lock?
Yes, a lock to his prison.
And is RL the key and that's why you had to defeat him, or what would be the key to open the lock?
Making the city move, basically.
Yeah, the problem we had was that we weren't really sure exactly what needed to happen, so the city didn't move. As there are many magical artifacts still in that city, but I think we had managed it, and then we were told that by activating this black obelisk, we would turn on the defenses of the city. What we weren't told was what the defenses were.
We kind of got tricked.
What were the defenses?
Take the city into the past.
Time travel.
That's where the temporal signatures are coming from. You know, time travel is a very interesting subject, but it is also dangerous.
Listen, we didn't want to time travel. It kind of happened.
True. I'm just saying be careful. What you do might have consequences while you're in the past.
I admit I've had a lot of thoughts about that. Is it only one timeline? Is what we do going to really affect our timeline, or is it just going to branch out into a new, different future?
That is hard to say.
And what is the future?
Well,
Is the future just the past that we haven't experienced yet?
for certain, it is our past. It's rather complex, isn't it? If there is time travel, then surely there's been other cases of other people traveling into the past. Surely the Netherese have done it. And yet the Netherese in our time are all but extinct.
So you're saying that right now you're trying to get back to the future?
Well, I'm sure we need to do that. Though it has been tempting to see what happens if we don't have Yithrin crash and save the Netherese from their own demise. What kind of future would that be for the Sword Coast?
You have to ask yourself, do you have an obligation to help those that you can at the time that you're in, or do you keep it as it was and let the future play out?
I'm on the as was.
And can I affect the future? If the future is set in stone, then nothing I do will affect it. I'll just be repeating the past. If it's already happened, then anything I do here is determined already and won't change anything.
And do you really have the time to help someone in the past?
Well, there's that too. Of course, helping someone in the past may give us access to someone with chronomancy, and that can then send us back to the future.
All this talk about time travel has given me vertigo.
I agree with you. Like, this is just stuff I don't understand. I just let Addie and the others talk about it. As far as I'm concerned, you don't mess with the past because you don't want to fuck up the future.
I mean, this is the defense of the city. The city was meant to have this as a time to rewind and fix whatever had happened to the city that needed this to be rewound in the first place, which means this isn't the first time that this has happened, surely. And if this is a defense of the city, that means the city officials will see us and be aware of the fact that we are here because something is going to target or something is going to happen to their city, and will actually believe us if we tell them what happens.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like this is just beyond my pay grade, so I'm just... Do you all understand this? Because I don't.
So far, I seem to be keeping track.
I have a base understanding of time travel and its repercussions, but it's still a little high-end for my liking.
But out of curiosity, how long have you all been in the past?
Whoa.
Minutes.
Yes, we only had just gotten there, but we were so tired that we decided to find a safe place to rest and recover.
And then we ended up here.
Oh, okay, so you're still rather fresh.
Yes.
Yep.
Okay.
My whole life has been in the past.
I should hope so.
Isn't everyone's life in the past?
I'll give you that one, Ephraim. I'll give you that one.
You have some interesting items on you. I can see that Addie's is related to being a warlock. It's a bow, but Could you tell me a bit about how that works? Because I don't understand warlocks very well.
Well, the pact I made was one that would allow me to summon a weapon. I can shape it however I like, but I prefer longbows. It's easier to use for me, and it lets me keep a distance from the battle at hand. This one in particular, since it's a magical one, does have some extra punch to it. And it has the advantage that I cannot be separated from it, since I can just resummon it to myself. Though I'll admit sometimes I forget to summon it before battle, and that's always a bad time, because then I have to spend time summoning it before I can actually attack.
Ah, yes, that does seem like it's quite inconvenient when you need to do it in the middle of a battle.
Yes, after that happened one or two times, I got more into the habit of summoning it once I'm awake and keeping it on hand.
Yes. And for Sig, you have a axe and a ring that are quite interesting. Could you tell us a bit about those?
The axe, it's, hit things, they freeze a bit, it glows. Freezes my hand a bit, but I don't really notice it. The ring is, again, something I took from, body, but as you do. I'm not a big fan of it. I keep it mostly because I have it as, I guess you could call it a panic button. It can protect an ally if need be. So, for example, if a baddie is about to, die, I can use it to protect her. I haven't used it yet, partially because we haven't needed the panic button, and partially because it is technically a Ring of Auril, and I don't want to use it, because that might make her happy. So it's there in a case of emergency, but I hope I never have to use it.
That's fair. Also, something I've noticed and is that I smell coffee, and that has been bothering me.
Yeah, hang on, here it is. I got this a while back. It's really, really strong dwarven coffee. Addie's had some of it. Woke her up real good for a while. I mean, if you want to try some, go ahead.
Yes, I would.
Just a warning, it has a rough crash.
I figured it did, because it smells like some of the strongest coffee around. But, this tastes pretty good. And you two get to deal with the outcome of this later, sure, AFM.
Why have you cursed us?
He asked, I offered. Sorry, but not that sorry.
If we have you again, just don't give him coffee. I've seen Rue hyped up. We don't need more.
This is one of the reasons why we don't allow cupcakes in this realm.
One of the reasons why I won't tell him how to make a milkshake. I mean...
What? Sugar is not bad for me. Sugar gets processed normally. I totally do not get hyper from too much sugar. I am offended that you would say such a thing, and I do not know what you're talking about in the least.
The more I listen to this guy, the more he reminds me of Ember. Does he remind you of Ember? Because he reminds me of Ember, Addie.
Maybe a more mature Ember.
Our Rue?
Yeah.
Mature?
Are you suggesting that I am immature? How very dare you!
I'm suggesting a lot of things.
I am offended, I am wounded, and I am going to go back to my little spot of the cave and weep, for I am so wounded.
Okay, bye, Rue.
Oh,
You're just taking the coffee, aren't you?
no.
Give them back the cup.
Okay, fine. Here you go.
This is a dream, so, you can keep it. I'm pretty sure it'll be back in my bag later.
The world of dreams can be weird. Sometimes when you give things here, they don't return.
No, don't worry. We'll force Rue to give you back everything.
All right.
It's only been coffee.
But how would our Rue here be a bit more mature than your cohort? Can you tell us a bit about them?
Author, conspiracy theorist, obsessed with gossip. and formerly just a itty-bitty cat who somehow became awakened and decided to become a wizard.
That sounds like a heck of a combination.
Yeah,
It makes for a rather trying companion.
yeah.
I see. And can you tell us a bit about your other companions?
Well, the other two are Reghead tribe members from different tribes. One is from the Elk tribe we've mentioned before, and Bitter is he from the Bear tribe?
I believe so. He'll be mad at us if we don't get it right, but I think it's Bear.
Pretty sure it's Bear. And apparently has connections with Ilavissus and Auril.
If connections you mean daddy issues.
Well, some tieflings are a bit closer to their demonic or devilish parents' edge, apparently.
But daddy issues.
I mean, Addie, couldn't we say the same about you?
I was just blessed by Lathander. That's quite different. That's not how Azimars work. It's just a blessing from the gods.
Oh, I thought you were talking about daddy issues.
Oh,
I'm just going to go with the first guess, just to not insult anyone.
Don't worry, I insult her enough. I think she's grown some thick skin.
it has been rather trying being up here in the north. It's not very noble friendly.
Not very friendly, period. Yeah, Oryx, he's Earth Genasi, different kind than me. I enjoy him because he's pretty good at fighting close combat, so we tend to go back and forth, just surround enemies and whack them until they go down. He has a bit more, anger issues than I do, but it works out. And then Bitter's a sorcerer, so uses a lot of magic, a lot of ice magic. And he doesn't think his magic through sometimes. Just gonna say, if anyone suggests doing a spell that is burning oil, tell them not to do that spell. It's horrifying to watch.
It is rather mean.
I apologize. I believe your temporal rift might be closing, but I would like to ask you 3 more questions, if I may.
All right.
What would be one of your favorite moments with your group?
That's a hard one. I suppose it was pretty funny seeing Sig getting tossed into the water that time we went down that slide.
You're never gonna let me forget that, are you?
Well,
It wasn't even my fault.
but Sig, I thought you were strong enough to hold on to, a small cat falling into you.
Wasn't a small cat. And I'm going to point out, doesn't matter how big you are, if someone slides behind you and slams into your knees, you're going to collapse and you're going to end up in a frozen goddamn lake.
Well, I do hear you like doing the dips into lakes. Don't you do that every year in Waterdeep?
That's different. That's a party. And that includes booze. That didn't include booze. That just included a bunch of monsters deciding, oh, look, you're attacking our nest. We're going to attack you back. Not fun.
Doesn't sound like it would be. Why were you going down a slide?
Well, we were in a cave that was carved out of a giant iceberg trying to find an ancient city. And of course, you have monsters down there and they're making tunnels and, well, you're in an iceberg. Everything's ice. So the tunnel, which was very steep, was kind of an ice-covered slide. I'm going to point out, one of our party members sent his familiar down to take a look, and he never mentioned the lake right beside the edge of the ice slide. So once again, not my fault.
You really do like stressing that nothing is your fault.
Considering who my party is, yeah, it's not my fault. If anything, it's your fault. I'm here because of you.
Yes, you like mentioning that pretty often.
It's how it keeps me sane up here.
I didn't force you to take the job.
My next question, what would be one of your least favorite moments with the group? Maybe the most difficult you've had with them.
Book signing.
Book signing?
Serious? Of all the things that we've had to fight, including Chardalin Dragon and strength-sucking shadows, you choose the book signing.
Because I couldn't hit anyone. At least when you're fighting dragons, you can grab them and try and keep them from flying away and hit them with a big axe. When you're dealing with strength-sucking shadow monsters, you can smack them with a weapon and they die. You can't do that when your party member decides to go to a book signing for his conspiracy theorist novel and everyone in town decides to come get a signed book. You can't hit anyone. I don't know. What's your worst moment, Addie?
I think my worst moment was actually a dream. A dream that turned into a nightmare.
Was it this one?
I don't think this is a nightmare. I had a dream where I was connected to Lathander, and that connection was hijacked by Torog. So slowly during the dream, he morphed Lathander's vision into this slimy creature that he is. It was quite traumatizing, to be honest. And he keeps whispering to me in my dreams that I have to free him and that I must join him and that it's my destiny to join him. And, well, to be honest, I think that's a bunch of crap and that he's just trying to shatter my nerves. But it doesn't make it any more pleasant.
Does like the gods plan?
Well, he may plan what he wants, but he's still in a prison, and I am being sent by Lathander, so I believe in his power. Of course, as the closer I got to him, the more he seemed to worm his way into my dreams, and as well, it hasn't been easy to get a good night's sleep.
But now you get no guidance.
I have enough knowledge from the past. I have followed Lathander all my life. I still feel him enough that I have my connection to my powers, so that means that everything is all right, and that everything will turn out all right.
And my final question before you go. What are your plans after you return to the present?
I'm gonna go home, get a damn cupcake, and get paid finally. And then vacation. Definitely vacation.
That's why I asked about the cupcakes. I have plans to talk to my father about, the whole ring deal and figure out what he knows about it. And then I'm probably setting my sights on Neverwinter.
And what are your plans for Neverwinter?
Well, I figure if I really am who everyone says I am, I should probably take over the throne. And if I understand correctly, the only thing I need to know to confirm my...
Is to know yourself?
Well, that's nice. No, I've heard that the spirits of the Alagondar castle will only bow to one of their line. So if they chase me out of the castle, then we'll know for sure.
Understood.
I'm sure I'll need a bodyguard for that.
It's going to be under contract and a hell of a lot more pay.
Well, if I become ruler of Neverwinter, I should be able to afford that.
If.
You have trust issues?
What? No, not at all.
If anything, I think we're pretty certain of the fact that I am from the Alagondar family line, so we'd have more trouble with the Lord's Alliance that would be against someone going to claim the throne.
Yeah, fair trade.
I believe we should have you get going before your temporal rift closes.
Time flies.
Yes, I suppose we'll have to deal with the repercussions of going into the past first.
Great. Totally looking forward to that.
But it was lovely having you, and I hope this was a nice break from your tedious adventure.
Oh, it was.
Yes.
Enjoy the coffee.
I hope our secrets that we've mentioned stay safe with you.
Yeah, of course.
Of course.
And lemon pepper freestyle.
What?
Ephraim, are you having a stroke?
I think so. Anyway, take care.
Until we see you again, have a good awakening.